The greatest good person can turn to the worst killer at any time. This was a sentence that described Guam Divine Doctor in ways of survival. Guam Divine Doctor, Yoo Jonghyuk. According to the records and ways of survival, the task that Yoo Jonghyuk devoted his last years to wasn't medicine, but poison. Like many great people who later became constellations, Yoo Jonghyuk reached a level beyond the actual history records. If I make a poison that can kill anyone, I can make a pill that can save anyone. Yoo Jonghyuk was banished after the death of King Sonjo and devoted his last 7 years to this question. Why was a poison a medicine for some people and a poison for others? One day, in his last years, he finally reached a mystical answer. It isn't the body, but the spirit that determines the action of the poison. A poison made by analyzing 1,000 souls. The result was the heavenly poison that flowed out of Lee Sol-hwa's body, the 1,000 Spirits poison. Donggui Bogam was actually written from Yoo Jonghyuk's failure to reach the 1,000 Spirits poison. I moved through the 1,000 Spirits poison and dealt a merciless blow to Lee Sol-hwa. Lee Sol-hwa flew through the air. It wasn't hard to defeat Lee Sol-hwa if her poison was disabled. It was the 1,000 Spirits poison that solidified her reputation as one of the 10 evils. If I hadn't gone to Donggui Bogam, I would have become a sacrifice of her reputation. This time, her luck was bad. The constellation Guam Divine Doctor is looking at you like he is sorry. The constellation Guam Divine Doctor is looking forward to you dealing with this properly. 300 coins have been sponsored. The parasite infection was irrelevant to Guam Divine Doctor's intentions. In other words, Lee Sol-hwa's attack on me wasn't according to Lee Sol-hwa's will. By the way, only sponsoring 300 coins. Constellation Sua Ilpil expects you to deal with this properly. The constellation Bald General Justice expects you to do your best. 300 coins have been sponsored. I ignored the response of the constellations and approached Lee Sol-hwa. Lee Sol-hwa crawled across the ground with fear. I could feel Yoo Jonghyuk's gaze in the distance. He would probably be badly hurt if Lee Sol-hwa died here. I looked at the fallen Lee Sol-hwa and opened my mouth. Hey. To be exact, I spoke to the parasite Antinous inside her. It would be good if you come out. It isn't too late now. Return to your duties as a guide. Teach people skills and get along with them. If you work hard, maybe you can become a constellation one day. The parasite queen, Antinous, was a strong hero. It wasn't possible for her to exert all her strength because she was restricted by the possibilities. It wasn't impossible for her to become a constellation if she continued to be a guide and accumulated history. You humans, I hate. The problem was that she thought of humans as enemies. It was also a mortal enemy. I glanced at the disaster meter that was intermittently shaking. I'm sorry that your world was destroyed, but is it necessary to destroy this world? Are you going to reproduce the same tragedy here? All of you will die. I watched the smiling Antinous and sighed. If she didn't go out on her own, I would force her out. In fact, I didn't want to use this method. It wasn't just due to the pain Lee Sol-hwa would go through. I didn't want the burden of dealing with Antinous after she left the body. I glanced up at the sky. The constellations of the Korean Peninsula. I owed them a debt last time, so this time I had to make a concession. The special option of Donggui Bogam Incomplete has been activated. Donggui Bogam Incomplete has conveyed the essence of Oriental medicine to you. I had an incomplete version of Donggui Bogam, so I couldn't do miracles like making a powerful poison or saving a dying person. However, I could do simple treatments. For example, taking a parasite out of a body. Her body had to be bound for a smooth treatment, so I had Lee Sol-hwa's arms from her behind, holding her to the ground. It was a misleading position, but her consciousness was buried deep inside her. Common sense told me not to go after Yoo Jonghyuk's ex-girlfriend unless I was a madman, especially in front of Yoo Jonghyuk's eyes. Ixu's skill, hit her pressure point level 2, was activated. I started to press at different pressure points on Lee Sol-hwa's body. Soon after, her skin turned red, and I planted a needle made of magic power into her reacting blood. It was my first time doing this, so I didn't know if it would work. It hurts! It hurts! Lee Sol-hwa howled loudly. I ignored her and kept pressing the pressure points. Ah! Then Lee Sol-hwa's screams gradually changed. It changed from the cry of an insect to a human voice. Using Oriental medicine to remove a parasite from the body, I was embarrassed that a person who had relied on Western medicine so far was now practicing Eastern medicine. The essence of Oriental medicine is effective. The constellation Guam Divine Doctor is looking at you with a warm expression. I got up while Lee Sol-hwa was gasping for breath. Yellow mucus was flowing from the glands in her body where the poison had been secreted. The mucus was the main body of the parasite. This would have satisfied the constellations. The constellation Guam Divine Doctor thanks you for your good deed. 500 coins have been sponsored. Lee So's eyes slowly opened. Consciousness returned to her eyes, but there was still no focus. It was because she was infected with the parasite not long ago. She wouldn't be able to see my face right now with her 5 senses half dead. You. Who are you? I was well aware of the events that would happen if I answered this question. A similar thing happened when Yoo Jonghyuk saved Lee Soho in other rounds. That's why the important thing wasn't my identity. I was sent by Yoo Jonghyuk. Kim Dokja, don't do anything unnecessary. Yoo Jonghyuk's angry voice pierced my ears. Lee Soho's expression changed. Yoo Jonghyuk? Who is that? You'll find out soon. Poisoner Lee Soho had to become a part of Yoo Jonghyuk's group. After the prophets appeared and the Absolute Throne broke, the flow of this world was slowly changing from what I knew. It was difficult to make the mistakes of the original, but it was also hard to see the future that I didn't know. That's why it was necessary to balance the important events directly. Some things flowed the same, while other things flowed differently. There were twists and turns, but in any case, I thought that this round was approaching the ideal approximation that I was thinking of. And the poisoner, no, the immortal doctor, Lee Soha, could become the greatest set points of this approximation. Kim Dokja, this side is done! I turned around and saw Han Soo-young and Yu Sung approaching this way. Amazing. The two of them swept that many people? It might be a situation where the poisoner was missing, but they were still the poisoner's group. The original plan became meaningless. The two of them might be comparable to Lee Jie's ghost fleet and Gong Pildu's arm zone. Wait, don't come over here! I had to restrain their movements. It was difficult if they didn't have the immunity being infected. This fight hadn't ended yet. Human. The mucus that escaped from Lee So's body gathered in a ball at one point in the air. Parasite Queen Antinous. She was scary in parasitic mode, but even scary when she didn't have a host. The mucus moved like a small bug and formed a shape. It was a body made of nutrients that had been absorbed for many years. It was a body with beautiful curves and solid muscles. She had dragonfly-like wings and a tail that resembled a scorpion. She covered an insect shell apart from the face, but she looked more like a bipedal creature than an insect. The real battle started now. Get away before you're infected! The sharp tail aimed for my stomach. The effect of the Dokui Bokam Incomplete has been activated. Your body's immune from parasitic infection. It was so fast I couldn't avoid it despite having over 50 agility. I narrowly caught the tail before it pierced me, but if it hit, I would have definitely got a hole in my stomach. She used the fact that I was holding her tail to fly towards me and hit me. I was knocked to the ground and a strong pain filled my body. Strong. She became even stronger when she wasn't in a host. The power of her main body was comparable to a 5th-grade insect king species. Once Antinous released her fighting power, it was equivalent to the degraded fire dragon I once killed. It might be destroyed, but she was still the hero of her own world. She was strong as Lycaon, who emerged from the yellow meteorite. This didn't mean I had no chance. It was clear violation of the scenario rules for the guide to cause such an uproar before the 5th scenario ended. It wasn't just killing a few people, she even tried to hatch a disaster, which meant she had probably given up on her probability. The sign of a probability storm was already descending on Antinous' body. As time passed, the collapse of her body would accelerate, even if I didn't attack. It was a fight I could win if I just bought time. The problem was how much time I could buy before dying. At this moment, the protection symbol of the Immutar started shaking. Ah, that's right. It was this. I held my aching body and said to her, I'm sorry, but I'm not your opponent. As I spoke, a flash of silver lights crossed the sky, causing a sonic boom. The gorgeous mane scattered in the air as something landed in front of me with a loud roar. The being was over 3 meters tall. Lycaon, Prince of the Immutar, stood up. I'm sorry for the delay, Protector.